My dear friends, it's good to see you. About 4 months ago, I put up a video called The Only Scale You Really Need to Know. And I was absolutely gobsmacked by how successful that it's become. It's had nearly 250,000 views in 4 months. So it's one of my most successful videos. But what was more intriguing were the comments. I was absolutely stunned by how many people out there, seasoned players, didn't know the trick that I was, well, trick, technique, whatever you want to call it, that I was demonstrating. And this video's continued to get loads and loads of views, but I've had so many new subscribers since then, I thought that I would just briefly revisit it. And hopefully it'll be an eye-opener for those people watching this now that have never seen it before, okay? Now, we're going to use, I want you to just think, we're going to use one scale, really. I like to use the Aeolian scale, which is just an extension of the pentatonic scale, all right? You can use the pentatonic if that's the only one you know. The principle is exactly the same, okay? Now, before we go any further, I want you to think of these two fingers as minor finger, first finger, all right? Think of it, minor finger, and little finger, major finger, all right? So if I was going to play, just to start off, the pentatonic in A minor, I would put my first finger there and I would go nice and simple, all right? Okay, so A minor and all the chords that relate to A minor, that will fit with all of them. It just does. That's how Western music works. The only time it doesn't really work is if you're playing like jazz fusion or something like that. But if you're going to be playing blues, country, indie, pop, rock, what I'm telling you now works perfectly, all right? Exactly the same pattern of notes, all right? Okay, minor finger, I was playing it there at the 5th fret, which is why we know that that's A. For you beginners out there, how do I know that? E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, all right? I don't want to go into too much detail about that. Now, the little finger, you know, the pentatonic scale, I'll just use the fret numbers. We start, if we're in A minor, at fret 5, because that's the A note. The little finger with the pentatonic is at fret 8. What note is that? I can hear you ask. Well, that's the note C. So, this finger here is the minor. It kicks off the minor scale of A minor. But it's also the major scale of whatever this little finger is, in this case, C. All right, so with that in mind, if I put my first finger here and wanted to play, I'll just play a bit of a backing track. Let's have a look. I'll play the pentatonic and then I'll play the Aeolian. So this is pentatonic, dead simple. Carried away here, but you get the idea. Pentatonic in A minor, minor because the minor finger was there. You may say, well, what if I was playing in A major, you know, and you've only just started, you know the pentatonic scale. You could say, well, okay, well, let's play an A major backing track. Watch this. This is where the magic starts, okay? So this is a backing track. I'm just picking any old thing in A major, okay? And my little finger's going to come into play here. So it's in A major. I'm going to put my little finger on the A note, and so my first finger now is up here at the 2nd fret. Doesn't matter what it is, what note that is. All you need to know is that your little finger goes here, okay? And we're going to play the same pattern that we did before, starting at the 2nd fret and working our way down. Our little finger being the furthest one away from the first finger now, okay? You'll notice you'll see what I mean when I get going. A major. You can get carried away, Okay, so to recap, when I had a song that was in a minor key, in this instance it was A minor, I started with my first finger there. Now look at the pattern of notes, watch the pattern. Minor. If I want it to be an A major, I'll put my little finger there on the A note and I will play exactly the same pattern. Clearly I'm at a different position. Oops. A major. A minor. I've got a bit of distortion on the guitar from an earlier session. I'm sorry if you can't hear it. Let's find another. Let's look at C minor. Should we just look at C minor? See what happens. So you're thinking on your feet. You're in a band. We're doing another song. Elsie can't sing it in A minor. We're going to do it in C minor, and you're doing the solo. Before you soil your trousers, think, hang on a minute, what was it that guy said with the hat on? If it's in C minor, if I get my first finger and put it on the C note on the bass string, I forget it's basic at the moment. Where's that? Well, it's there. How do we know? E, F, F sharp G, G sharp A sharp B, C. If I do the pattern that he said, it should work. Let's find out. This is a backing track in, where's C minor? Hold on a minute, let me see if I can get one. C major, what's this in? All right, C minor, here we go, hold on. I hope there's no adverts. So, C minor, first finger, minor finger, here. Pentatonic. Okay, so you could get away with that, couldn't you? You could play all night. Let's see all the relative chords went with it. You might say, well, okay, well, let's do it in C major. What would you do then? You think, oh, hang on a minute, what did he say? Major finger. That was his little finger. If I put my little finger now on the C note and play exactly the same pattern, let's see what happens, okay? So rock pop backing track, this one says, in C major. So what's this like? Let's have a listen. So I'm starting here now. There's my C note there. Turn that up a bit quiet. Hard for me to sort of try and restrict myself from showing off. I'll play the Aeolian scale, which I like. Again, there's our C note. Keep it simple. All right, let's think, what else can we play? B minor. If I was in B minor, let me find another one. Again, you might be getting bored now because I'm playing the same thing. That's the whole point, you see. I'm in B minor, let's have a look. So what would we do? Come on, think. Minor finger, a major finger. I'm going to put this finger on the B note. We should know where that is now. Okay. By the way, if you don't know how to, the simplest way to remember where you are on the neck, usually have 3 dots on your guitar. Okay. Sometimes you have one at the first. More often not. 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Just learn them. Think of this: girls and boys. G, A, B. So, but we're there. All right. That's the way I remember it. You got to think on your feet. Always remember, we ain't got time to be messing around. These things happen. If you want to be a performer and you want to not stand there like this, you got to think on your feet. B minor. Quite rocky, that, isn't it? Play the Aeolian. I'll play the pentatonic first. Remember, there's our B note. Aeolian. See, the Aeolian is a much classier. And the Aeolian works beautifully, by the way, on nylon guitar or acoustic, when you're playing acoustic guitar solos. It's beautiful, you know. All that stuff that Brian May and Dave Gilmour does, it's all the Aeolian, pentatonic, there's nothing flash. David Gilmour's on record as saying he doesn't even know what a scale is. He qualified it by saying, well, clearly I sort of know what I'm playing, but I wouldn't know what the scale was. You know, most of us professionals, unless we study music, which most of us haven't, we don't have a clue. We just know what's right. Okay, so we've done that, and so on. So that's the key. So one more time, let's recap. If I was playing in A minor, I would use my first finger and put it on the. I'm just using the bass string for now, just to show you what's what. So it's the major, it's the minor scale, the pentatonic minor scale of A. The major scale of whatever this one is. In this instance, it would be C. A minor. C. Okay? If I wanted to play an A major, though, you know, rather than learn a whole new scale, think, well, I'll just put my little finger on the A note there and do exactly the same. Okay? And then, of course, what determines whether you're going to make a great guitar player or not, as with all of us, is what order you put those notes in and how you play those particular notes. All right? I have this little saying as well, you know, if you can't say it, you can't play it. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, particularly beginners, they sort of assume, as we all do, that your hands sort of somehow know what to do. But if I was going to play something like, I'm going to say something, I sort of, for a split second before I move my hands, I sort of know what I'm going to tell them. Clearly, obviously. We forget that that's how the whole process works. We sort of assume, people talk about muscle memory. And muscle memory, yeah, fair enough. But your brain's still got to tell your hands what to do. They don't just do it on their own. You know, you know. And as you get older and you start to lose your marbles a bit, then we get slower because our brain is not telling our body what to do as quickly as it once did. All right? Let's not go there. But that's how it works. Now, for example, if I was going to, I would suggest anyone watching this who's starting off playing, they get these books of tablature and they will play something like. Now, you probably, it's such an iconic riff, you probably have an idea of what that is. But without the phrasing, it sounds crap. So, you know, boom. Ba 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 da 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 dum da da ka dum da da dum da 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 know what I mean? That's for another lesson, isn't it? I'm going to do that probably on next Wednesday. If you can't say it, you can't play it, and we'll have a little look at that. Right, that was a little impromptu lesson for those people who want to get their head around soloing without having to buy reams and reams of paperwork or look at reams and reams of paperwork, buy all these scales books. Now, I don't mean to undermine those that study those things a lot, but honestly, those of us in the music business that came through pop and rock and all that sort of music, you know, we only really know one or two scales at the most, pentatonic, Aeolian, and then that's enough notes. I mean, if you think about it, you've only got 10 numerical digits, haven't you, to make how many lottery numbers and phone numbers. We've got 12 notes on the guitar, so the permutations are, there's billions of them. It's the order you put them in that matter. All right, so on that basis, I want to thank you again for donating to my channel by buying a cup of tea. For the thanks button below. Thumbs up, please, if you don't mind, because that really helps circulate it. I'm going to put a link to this the video I did a few months ago, The Only Scale You Really Need to Know. I'm going to put that underneath this one, and I suggest you'll go and have a look at it. There's paperwork attached to that as well, you know, my idiot proof stuff. So have a look at that, and I shall look forward to seeing you. I'm not doing a lesson on Saturday, I'm doing a live stream, so join me on Saturday if you can. This one's going out, what day? It's Wednesday, so this one's going, so it's this Saturday coming. I always do a live stream on the first Saturday of every month, okay? And if you watch this video and you have any questions, that's your opportunity to talk to me in real time about anything you want to do, and if anything you're not sure of, I'll show you again. Right, thank you very much for that. The Patreon link at the bottom. I will see you on Saturday on my live stream. Until then, take care, bye-bye.